Hello, today I'm going to be going over all of the systems you're going to need to know for medical terminology. First off, starting with the integumentary system. So, the integumentary system is the outer body's covering and consists of the skin and its associated structures. So, you can see here how it's the skin and all the associated structures under the skin. And it serves as a barrier protecting the body from external elements, basically protecting the stuff inside of you, and is comprised of your skin, your hair, your nails, your sweat glands, your sebaceous glands, and it plays a vital role in maintaining your overall health. So the skin is actually the largest organ in your body because it's all counted as one large piece, and it has multiple functions. So as a physical barrier, it protects your body against pathogens, which are basically like viruses and bacteria that want to get inside you, chemicals and UV radiation, so it protects your skin from like skin cancer, and it also regulates body temperature through sweat production. So sweat actually cools your body down and keeps you at the right temperature, and blood vessel dilation or constriction. Skin has various sensory receptors, and these receptors actually communicate through nerves to your brain, and that's how you can feel things. So maintain your sense of touch. Hair is also another component of the integumentary system, and you can see like a hair shaft over here. So it provides insulation and protection against UV radiation and some types of physical trauma, and it also plays a role in sensory perception. Nails are formed by specialized cells and are responsible for protecting the fingertips and enhancing fine motor skills. So basically, like when you're playing a video game and need some like fine control. Finally, we have the sweat glands. They are actually what produces the sweat, which cools the body through evaporation. Sweat also aids in the excretion of waste products and helps maintain your body's overall state. Next, we have the muscular system. The muscular system is responsible for movement and plays a critical role in supporting the body, generating heat, and maintaining posture. So, without the muscular system, you wouldn't be able to maintain your posture. You would just be like lying down, unable to do anything. It's composed of muscles, tendons, and associated connective tissues. Muscles are obviously the main component of the muscular system. So here we can see a human body in certain anatomical position with a bunch of muscles listed out. So there are specialized tissues that contract and relax, which is how your muscles actually do stuff, because that contraction and relaxation produces force and enables movement. They're categorized into three different types: skeletal, cardiac, and smooth muscles. Skeletal muscles, which are also known as voluntary muscles, are muscles that you can control whenever you move. So, like your heart would be an involuntary muscle, your heart's always beating. Whereas your skeletal muscles, you can always move, like your arm. These are typically responsible for activities such as walking, running, and lifting weights. They're under conscious control, meaning we can voluntarily initiate and control their contractions. Cardiac muscles are only found in the heart and are responsible for pumping blood throughout the body. These muscles contract rhythmically and involuntarily. You cannot think your heart to stop. Smooth muscles are found in the walls of organs, so for example, like the stuff around your liver, and they help maintain the strength of those things. So, like, it maintains your digestive tract, blood vessels, and respiratory airways. They also contract involuntarily and play a role in functions such as peristalsis in the digestive system and the regulation of blood flow and blood vessels. Tendons are part of the skeletal system and the muscular system, and they're tough, fibrous connective tissues that attach your muscles and bones together. They transmit the force generated by muscles into the bones, enabling movement. And that is it for the muscular system. Next up, we have the skeletal system. The skeletal system is what provides the structural support for your body and protects a bunch of your vital organs, and it also helps with movement, produces blood cells, and stores minerals. It consists of bones, cartilage, ligaments, and other connective tissues. Bones are obviously the main component of the skeletal system, as you can see from the diagram, and they are hard, rigid structures made of dense connective tissues. They come in various shapes and sizes and have different functions. The skeletal system consists of approximately 206 bones in the adult human body. Whenever you're younger, you have a bit less. And a primary component of your skeletal system is cartilage. Cartilage is a flexible, rubbery connective tissues found in various parts of the body, such as nose, joints, and ears. It provides cushioning to the bones and helps maintain their shape. Ligaments are tough bands of fibrous tissue that connect the bones to each other, providing stability to joints. They restrict excessive movements, so it prevents you from moving your combination of bones too harshly, which could cause damage to you. Skeletal system performs several important functions. Firstly, provides structural support to the body, giving it shape and form, and it serves as the framework that supports and holds the body together. The skeletal system also protects the vital organs. For example, the skull protects the brain, the rib cage protects the heart and lungs, and the spinal column surrounds and protects the spinal cord, which is responsible for a lot of the nerve communication inside your brain. Another crucial of the skeletal system is the production of blood cells. Red and white blood cells, as well as platelets, are produced in bone marrow, which is a soft, spongy tissue found in the inside of all your bones. And it is what produces all the blood in your body. And as you know, without blood, we cannot live. Next up, we have the human respiratory system. It's responsible for gases, the exchange of gases between the body and our external environment. It consists of various structures, including the lungs, airways, and respiratory muscles. The lungs are the main organs inside the respiratory system. They are located within the chest cavity and are responsible for the exchange of oxygen and carbon dioxide. So you inhale oxygen, you exhale carbon dioxide. They consist of millions of small air sacs called alveoli, which you can see a depiction of over here, where the exchange of gases take place. The airways include the nose, the nasal cavity, the pharynx, the larynx, trachea, bronchi, and the bronchioles. They serve as a pathway for air to enter and exit the lungs. The nose and nasal cavity help filter, warm, and moisten the air before it reaches the lungs. So that's why whenever you have a cold, everything you breathe feels kind of icky because your nasal cavity isn't acting properly. The pharynx, also more commonly known as the throat, connects the nasal cavity to the larynx. It serves as a passage for both air and food, ensuring that they're directed to the appropriate pathways. So, like, ensures you don't put stuff into the wrong throat, into the wrong hole in it. So, like, it makes sure it goes to the lungs and your food goes to the stomach. The larynx or voice box contains the vocal cords and plays a crucial role in your speech production. So, without it, I wouldn't be able to talk to you right now. And finally, we have the trachea, more commonly known as the windpipe. It's a rigid tube that connects the larynx to the bronchi. It's lined with cilia, which are mucus producing cells that help trap and remove foreign particles from the air before it reaches the lungs. So basically, it's like a purifier. The bronchi are the main air passages that branch out from the trachea and enter each lung, and you can kind of see them depicted over here inside the lungs, those things that come out. And its primary function is to exchange oxygen from inhaled air with carbon dioxide produced by the body cells, which is a major component of cellular respiration. And I recommend watching that video if you want to understand why this is so important. Next, we have the cardiovascular system. The cardiovascular system, also known as the circulatory system, is responsible for the movement of oxygen, nutrients, hormones, and other vital substances throughout the body. It consists of your heart, the blood vessels, and obviously your blood. The heart is a muscular organ located in the chest cavity. It acts as a pump, continuously contracting and relaxing because, as you know, it's a muscle, circulate blood throughout the body. The heart has four chambers: the left and right atria, as well as the left and right ventricles. The atria receive blood from the body and lungs, while the ventricle pump out blood to the rest of the body. So you can kind of think of whenever things are coming in through the veins, they go to the atrium, and then whenever you're trying to push something out, it goes through the ventricles, and you can see them kind of labeled on this diagram. Blood vessels are the channels through which blood flows. Arteries carry oxygenated blood away from the heart, whereas veins carry deoxygenated blood back into the heart. Capillaries are tiny, lined, veiled vessels that connect your arteries and veins. They allow for the exchange of oxygen, nutrients, and waste products between blood and surrounding tissues. Blood is a connective tissue that circulates throughout the body. It's made of plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets. Carries It's basically a carrier. It carries everything your cells need to perform cellular respiration. The, all of this works together in order to play the cardiovascular system's primary roles. It delivers oxygen to all your cells, making sure that they get their proper fix, ensures that it takes away the waste products such as carbon dioxide, and it maintains a fluid balance within the body, distributing water and electrolytes to areas that need them the most. The contraction of the heart, known as the cardiac cycle, also creates blood pressure, which is essential for maintaining blood flow throughout these vessels. The regulation of blood pressure ensures adequate perfusion of organs and tissues. Next, we have a similar system, the lymphatic system, and this system is responsible for your white blood cells and basically fighting off against infection. The lymphatic system is a network of vessels, organs, and tissues that work together to help maintain fluid balance, remove waste products, and fight against infections. It includes lymphatic vessels, lymph nodes, and lymphatic organs like your spleen and thymus. They're found scattered throughout the body, as you can see in this diagram. Lymphatic vessels are thin-walled tubes that parallel the blood vessels. They're kind of like the blood vessels and carry a fluid called lymph instead of blood. Lymph is a clear, colorless liquid that contains immune cells, waste products, and excess fluids. These vessels transport lymph across the body, kind of like the blood vessels transport blood across the body, eventually returning it into the bloodstream. Lymph nodes, on the other hand, are small bean shaped structures found across the lymphatic vessels. They act as filtering stations which remove foreign substances such as bacteria or even cancer cells from the lymph before it returns to the bloodstream, so kind of like purifiers again. They also maintain a crucial role in immune responses as they contain the immune cells, like T cells, that help fight against infections. Lymphatic organs, such as the spleen and thymus, all have specific functions that help the lymphatic system. For example, the spleen filters blood and removes old or damaged red blood cells, while also activating your immune cells. And the thymus plays a role in maturation and development of the T cells I spoke about earlier, which is a special type of white blood cell involved in immune responses. These tissues are scattered throughout the body and play an important role in the defense of your body. Next up, we have the digestive system. So, this is one of the more commonly known systems. The digestive system is responsible for breaking down food, absorbing nutrients, eliminating waste products, and it consists of your mouth, your esophagus, your stomach, your small intestine, large intestine, liver, gallbladder, and pancreas. The process of digestion begins in your mouth, where food goes down your esophagus, a muscular tube that connects the mouth to the stomach. The stomach has gastric juices, including acids and enzymes, that break down the food into a semi liquid mixture called chyme, which is what you turn into the resources that you need. From the stomach, the chyme enters the small intestine, which isn't actually small, but anyways, it enters the small intestine, which is a long coiled tube with tiny finger-like projections called villi. These villi increase the surface area for nutrient absorption into the bloodstream. Small intestine also receives secretions from the liver, gallbladder, and pancreas to aid in the digestion and absorption process. The liver, meanwhile, is the largest gland in the body, producing bile, which helps break down fats. It also detoxifies harmful substances and stores essential nutrients. The gallbladder stores and releases bile from the body and into the small intestine when needed. The pancreas produces digestive enzymes and hormones such as insulin and glucagon, which, if you know anything about diabetes, these are the two things that help maintain your blood sugar levels. Finally, after passing through the entire small intestine, they enter the large intestine, also known as the colon. The large intestine absorbs water and electrolytes from the remaining indigestible food, forming a solid waste called feces. They're stored in the rectum and then they are released from the body. So, as you can see, the digestive system is responsible for the processing of food, from when you take it into your mouth to when you release it from your body. Next up, we have the sensory nervous system. I'm kind of doing these together because they're extremely similar. So, nervous and sensory systems work closely together in order to receive and process information from the environment and coordinate your body's responses to everything. The nervous system consists of the central nervous system, which you can kind of see highlighted orange in this, and the peripheral nervous system. And the central nervous system is known as the CNS. The peripheral nervous system is known as the PNS. So the central nervous system is kind of like your core command structure, while the peripheral nervous system helps us get those signals into the central nervous system to be processed. So the central nervous system, as you can see, is composed of your brain and spinal cord, and integrates and interprets sensory information, as I said earlier, and coordinates your motor responses. PNS is the nerves that extend throughout your body and transmit the sensory information to the CNS. Sensory system is responsible for detecting and processing sensory information from the environment, which includes all your senses: the sight, hearing, taste, smell, and touch. All right, and those are the parts of the nervous system. However, the sensory system also has its own organs. For sight or vision, the eyes are the sensory organs associated with vision. I'm sure you all knew that, but they contain specialized cells called photoreceptors, and they detect light and convert it into electrical signals, which are interpreted by the brain. Next is hearing or audition, and these The sensory organs which is associated with these are the ears, which I'm sure you knew that too. It consists of the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. These ears work together to collect sound waves where they go through the ear canal and reach the eardrum. These vibrations are then transmitted through the middle ear to the cochlea in the inner ear, where they're converted into electric signals for the brain. So you can kind of notice a pattern where they're detecting things like light waves and sound waves and converting them to electrical signals for our nervous system to interpret. Next up, we have taste. So, the taste is based on your taste buds, which are primarily located in the tongue and are responsible for the sense of taste. They contain specialized receptor cells that detect different qualities, including sweet, sour, salty, bitter, and savory. Next, we have our smell or the olfactory system, which isn't really a separate system but helps manage your smell. These consist of specialized cells in your nasal cavity and help detect different odor molecules and again converts it into electric signals for the brain. Next, finally, you have touch, which involves taking things that your skin receives and transmits them through nerves into the brain. These detect various tactile sensations such as pressure, temperature, pain, and vibration. Next up, we have the endocrine system. The endocrine system is a complex network of glands that produce and secrete hormones into your bloodstream. These hormones are responsible for managing and regulating various important body functions and maintaining homeostasis in your body. The endocrine system works in conjunction with the nervous system to coordinate and control these activities. So basically, the central nervous system issues a command, and the endocrine system is what's responsible for actually sending the hormones to do those commands. So the endocrine glands, including the pituitary gland, thyroid gland, the pathyroid glands, the adrenal glands, pancreas, the ovaries in females, and the testes in males, secrete hormones directly into the bloodstream, which allows them to reach the target cells throughout the body. So each gland produces its own specific types of hormones that have distinct functions. The pituitary gland produces produces hormones that regulate the activity of the other endocrine glands. So it's kind of like the chief endocrine gland. And the thyroid gland produces hormones that regulate metabolism, growth, and development. So whenever you're undergoing puberty, it's blame the thyroid gland. Next is the parathyroid glands, which regulate calcium levels in the blood. If you drink a lot of milk, you'll be getting a lot of calcium. The adrenal glands produce hormones that regulate stress responses and prepare the body for fight or flight, which you can kind of remember by remembering adrenaline, which is the hormone that actually spreads through for the fight or flight responses. Next is the pancreas, which plays a dual role as an endocrine and exocrine gland, producing insulin and glucagon to regulate blood sugar levels. If you know about diabetes, you'll definitely know about those. They regulate your blood sugar. In females, the ovaries produces estrogen and progesterone, which regulate reproductive processes. And in males, the testes produce testosterone, which is responsible for the male reproductive development. Next up is the urinary system, also known as the renal system, and it maintains the body's fluid balance by taking in and distributing fluids as well as eliminating waste products. Composed of the kidneys, the ureters, the bladder, and the urethra. This system filters and removes metabolistic waste, excess water, and toxins from the bloodstream, producing urine as a waste product. The kidneys, located in the upper abdomen, are responsible for filtering blood and producing urine. They perform various functions, including removing waste products, regulating electrolytes and acid base balance, and producing hormones that control blood pressure and blood cell regulation. The filtered waste and excess fluid travel through the ureter, which are slender tubes that connect the kidney to the bladder. The bladder serves as a storage reservoir for urine. Whenever it fills to a certain capacity, it tells the brain through these nerves, as you can see in the drawing, which allows for voluntary control and allows us to initiate the act of urination through the urethra. All right, next up is the reproductive system in females. It's a complex network of organs that work together to facilitate reproduction and support the development of birth and offspring in females. It consists of several key structures, including the ovaries, fallopian tubes, the uterus, same as last time, cervix, and vagina. The ovaries are located on either side of the uterus and produce and release eggs, called ova, during the menstrual cycle, which is the cycle that regulates periods. These eggs then travel to the fallopian tubes, which you can see over here, where fertilization can occur if they encounter sperm, which is produced from males. fertilized egg or embryo then implants itself to the inner lining of the uterus, which you can also see over here. And the uterus, also known as the womb, is a pear shaped organ that provides nurturing for the baby and basically ensures that it grows. It has thick muscular walls to accommodate the growing baby and basically ensure its protection. Cervix is the lower part of the uterus that connects to the vagina, acting as a barrier keeping the uterus closed during pregnancy and dilating during childbirth to allow the baby to pass through and, be born. The vagina is a muscular canal that connects the cervix and into the external opening of the female reproductive system and is basically the entry point for sexual intercourse and where sperm enter the body from. Next up is the male reproductive system, which is also a complex network of organs that work together to produce and deliver sperm, the male reproductive cells, and facilitate the process of fertilization. So, an interesting difference between these two systems is that females are actually born with a certain amount of eggs they can have, which lowers itself to around 300,000 by the time of puberty, whereas the male reproductive system produces around 1,000 sperm per second, which is why males remain a lot more fertile than females throughout their lifetime. Contains of several key structures like the testes, epididymis, vas deferens, seminal vessels, prostate gland, urethra, and penis. Testes, which are located in the scrotum, which you can see over here, are responsible for producing sperm, the main male sex hormone, testosterone. Sperm production occurs within the tubulus of the testes, and after it's produced, it goes to the epididymis, a coiled tube where sperm mature and are stored until ejaculation. It's kind of like the storage bank. And finally, the vas deferens carries the sperm in from the epididymis into the seminal vessels, which you can see over here, the seminal vessels, and are used to contribute fluids to nourish and support the sperm. The prostate gland also adds fluid to the semen, which helps it travel through the other systems in this process, and it transports both urine and semen from the body through the penis. During ejaculation, the male contractions propel semen through the urethra and out the penis. The penis is the external organ that delivers sperm into the female reproductive tract, as we mentioned earlier. Now, this is kind of unrelated to the rest of the video. However, if you've been wondering why you've been gone for so long, it's because I've been studying. Right, studying. Anyways, as you can see from my hours on U4, I haven't been studying. But I'll try and make sure that I upload more videos in the future, particularly pertaining to medical terminology and my classes next year. That's it for this video. See ya!